Y'all already know. It's that big boss hog. Boss dog. Cake Po through the door. Here to talk this boxing. I had to run through the whole thing. Because this finna be that type of video. Woo! Actions speak louder than words. Let's discuss it. So, my last video, I dropped about Errol Spence. And of course, when you mention Errol Spence, there's going to be friction. When you mention Errol Spence, there's going to be hatred. When you mention Errol Spence, there's going to be drama, frustration, anger. Right? When you mention Errol Spence. Especially when you talk about Errol Spence in a good way. There's going to be those type of situations that get brought to the forefront, right? When you talk about Terrence Crawford, there's one group of people, and y'all know the group of people I'm talking about, that proceeds to comment on videos. And that's the Bud Booty Words, the Bud Wives of Omaha. It's one particular guy who I'm not going to even mention his name, right? Because we paying him, we're going to pay him a little bit of attention today. Now, this particular brother told me before the fight, hey, bro, you're going to delete your channel. You're going to be crying when Errol Spence lose. Didn't entertain it because, like I say, boss supports boxing. I don't support fighters, right? But I digress. So, he says, I'm going to delete my channel. He says that, this, that, and the third. He says Terrence Crawford will beat Errol Spence, which he was right. Terrence Crawford did beat Errol Spence. And he said that I'm going to be very upset about that. And he's going to be looking for me and I'm going to go in hiding. That's what he said. Right? Then, I ain't seen him in like 4 or 5 months. So he decides to comment again. He says, you're not a fan of boxing. You a fan of Errol. And, Terrence Crawford. Because in the last video, I gave Terrence Crawford credit. And he says, Terrence Crawford made you a fan of boxing. So let's address all of that. First and foremost, the question I have for that brother, where was you at after the fight? Because last time I checked, I made a video. As a matter of fact, I went live. Okay? I went live and looking for all the Bud Buddies. All of y'all. Okay? Some of us, we was able to reconcile our differences, right? If that's the term you want to use. Some of us, we got cool, right? We learned to respect each other. You know what I mean? A lot of them are cool. We got cool, we got understanding. We was able to, come to a meeting ground. But the rest of y'all went and hid and fled and hid. So now you trying to come back over here on Boss video when I talk about Terrence Crawford. Right? And literally I didn't say anything bad about Terrence Crawford. But you come over here in my comment section of my video when it pertains to me talking about Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. Which lets me further know. I want you to pay attention to the actions. Because I talk about all boxers. I talk about all fighters. But they only come over here when it pertains to Terrence Crawford. So I want y'all to pay attention to actions. Who's in love with the sport of boxing? Does that symbolize a sport? Does that symbolize that you are a fan of boxing? No. A lot of these dudes are fanboys. That boy is a fanboy. He a rainbow boy, and that's just what it is. We're going to call it what it is. I'm tired of these dudes claiming that they love boxing, and they don't know shit about boxing. I'm tired of these dudes coming on this YouTube claiming that they love boxing and they really fanboys of boxing. If you a fan of a fighter, just say that. Just keep it 1,000. We don't need frauds in here. Like Pimp C say, if you if you gonna go ahead and let this dude do whatever he do to you, just go ahead and say that. Don't come over here and act like you a straight up G, and then you go over here and let these dudes bust up your back. You know what I'm saying? You want Terence Crawford to bust up your back. That's between you and God. Over here, we gonna continue to expose frauds in the sport of boxing. And that's what it is. We're gonna expose fraudulent behavior in the sport of boxing. That's the main reason why I created my channel. Because a lot of these dudes was putting jackets on fighters that wasn't fitting, right? Fighters. They sat there and said Errol Spence was ducking. How was he ducking when he was fighting better fights than Terence Crawford? But when it came to Terence Crawford, oh no, he's not ducking. He's he wants the big fights. He just can't get them. So when we highlight these things, then it's a problem. Look, we not a fan of no fighters. We call people out for what it is. When Errol Spence was having issues with Frank Martin, I called him out on that. When that rumor went out, that was a rumor, right? When they said Errol Spence was leaving Derek James, I called him out on that. Go watch the videos for that rumor. So all I'm saying is at the end of the day, we gonna continue to speak the truth in the sport of boxing. Over here, we are a fan of the sport, not fighters. That's what it is. We don't sit here and sack chase no fighters. I watch a lot of boxing. A lot of boxing and boxing YouTube. Okay? You won't see Boss on nobody channel in the comment section talking about nobody. You won't see Boss doing none of that stuff. And like I told y'all, I watch a lot of boxing. You know what I do when somebody don't know what the fuck they talk about? I cut it off. I don't care. That's real talk. I don't care. And a lot of these channels, you got channels that got Terence Crawford as their screensaver with his shirt off. Are you a fan of boxing or you a fan of Bud? You got channels that are named after Terence Crawford. Are you a fan of boxing or you a fan of Bud? I'm not a fan of no fighter. I damn sure don't come from that era of taking another man that I don't know and putting him, I don't care if I know him, bro. I don't even post pictures of myself with my shirt off. That's rainbow behavior, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm not naming my channel Errol Spence Boxing. What we doing? You don't see me talking about every little thing that Errol Spence do. In the build-up of that fight, I talked about both fighters in its entirety. But, yes, I talked about a lot of BS that Terence Crawford was doing because he was doing a lot of BS. You don't fight Errol Spence to fight David Evanesian. BS. And there was an excuse for that. Oh, because PBC is broke. I ain't trying to hear that shit. You say he easy work. Go beat him. Floyd Mayweather did it. He took less of the money. He took whatever. And went and whooped Oscar De La Hoya monkey ass. He beat the brakes off of him. You get what I mean? Same thing with Arturo Gatti. He did stuff like that. Diego Corrales. Y'all forget Diego Corrales was looked at as like a killer. Floyd destroyed him. You see what I'm saying? That's what you do when you really want smoke. See, when I really want smoke with somebody, I don't care where we at. If I had an issue with somebody and I really want smoke, or if I was a pro boxer and I feel like, man, this dude overhyped, which that's what Terence Crawford feels. He feels like Errol Spence is overhyped. Because I'm finna make another video talking about that. When you look at situations and circumstances like that, there's nothing nobody could do to stop you. You gonna fight them wherever. It don't matter. You worrying about, well, it needs to be on this promotion company. If you're starving for fights, okay, that's why I say people use the wrong terminology for shit. They sit there and say stuff like, oh, he's starving for the top fights. If you starving for the top fights, you gonna go where the fighters are at. That's period. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing. If you hungry for a fight, if you starving, you want that smoke, you gonna go where they at. So yeah, you're gonna try through your promotional company, right? Which he was on Top Rank. You're going to try. And if your promotion company can't deliver, soon as your contract is up, I'm going over here, and I'm only over here on a mission. And my only mission is to whoop everybody they consider to be a top fighter. That's what you do. That's the problem I have with Shakur. All this talking, he talking about, oh, this, that, and the third. His actions ain't matching up what he talking about. I'm going to drop a video about that. When you really like that, bro, you go where the smoke is at. You eliminate every excuse that could be put in the middle of the way. That's what you do. Errol Spence wanted to fight Keith Thurman. He did everything in his power to try to make that fight happen. It didn't happen. But he put himself in a situation to where the excuses could be eliminated. Now, it's on Keith Thurman now. Right? They can't sit there and say, oh, Errol Spence, he was ducking. No, he eliminated all excuses. He went through Al. He was charging up Keith Thurman in front of cameras when we fighting. Not behind the scenes, in front of Fox cameras, like major network cameras. Hey, bro, I want to fight you. Out of character stuff Errol Spence don't even do. He did that. Still didn't get that fight. So all I'm saying is, to get back on topic, I'm sorry, I got off. I'm going to continue to expose these so-called fans of boxing. See, this boxing community, as smaller as it is, it's a small community, right? It's a very small community. It's one of those communities to where, like, it's very precious, and I cherish this community because boxing is a hard sport. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the NFL. I love football. You know what I'm saying? Like, football is my first love. But boxing is special to me. You get what I mean? It's special to me in its entirety. That's why I love boxing. I ain't going to put my business out like that. You know what I mean? But boxing was there for me. You get what I mean? In a rough time. So that's why I love the sport. It's the same thing with football. Football was there for me back in the day at a rough time. That's why I love the sport. I don't love fighters. I don't do that. I don't understand how you could look at another, and I'm not condemning nobody. It's 2023. You know what I mean? The rainbow thing is basically almost everybody a rainbow. I'm be the only one that ain't going that way. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, and I'm not calling everybody, I'm just saying, everywhere you look, you see it. It's on TV. You go in the store. It's everywhere like Walmart. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. That's what I'm saying, right? You can't escape it. See, back in my day, you knew, okay, man, oh, him. Now, everybody. To the point, I had to tell my kids about it, and they're 11 and 9 years old. You feel me? So it's 2023. I understand y'all men, y'all like, y'all move how y'all move. Y'all like that, you know, y'all be, pitching and catching. Y'all be doing all that bull crap. The problem I have is you got dudes who claim they love boxing. Same terminology. Pimp C said this. He said, you got dudes in this rap game who think they gangster. They come over here, act like a straight up G, and then they go over here and they let this dude bust up their back. That's what y'all doing in boxing. You claiming to be a boxing fan. You claiming that you love boxing, but you really a fanboy. Just go ahead and say that. It's 2023. Just go ahead and say you only love Terrence Crawford. That's it. I need y'all to be real. Stop faking like you like you love boxing. You don't know nothing about no boxing. The only fighter you watch is Bud, and you watching it on what's the app, the Amazon thing, the Fire Stick. You fire sticking his fights, because if you was watching his fights like you say you are, if you was watching his fights and your fandom was that big, Terrence Crawford would be he'll have more money than everybody. For as much as people who love Terrence Crawford, he's still not a mega star in boxing. Now, he's a mega star. He's respected, right? Because they know he could fight. Everybody know he could fight. But Terrence Crawford should be bigger than what he is. Why isn't he? It ain't only Bob Arum's fault. It's y'all, Bud buddies. Y'all claim y'all love him. He's the best fighter in the world. Yeah. But his fights don't support that. That's the reason why he only fights in Omaha, Nebraska. He can't go to the Barclays and fight a no-name guy and sell that mug out. He can't come to Texas and fight a no-name guy and sell it out. He can't go, now Errol Spence can. Even after Errol Spence lost to Terrence Crawford. If Errol Spence decided, I don't want to fight Terrence Crawford, and he go fight Erickson Lubin or something, and he fight him in the Barclays, he going to sell that mug out. That's real talk. Tank, same thing. So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, spade to spade. We gonna continue to expose the frauds in boxing, right? I love this sport. I respect this sport. That's what it is. And I'm gonna continue to show respect to this sport. I'm gonna continue to show respect to fighters. Not gonna disrespect no fighter. You don't hear me disrespecting no fighter, saying they suck. None of that. You could go look at all the videos. You never heard me say nobody. You never heard Boss say that nigga suck. You ain't never heard me say that. You go watch all my videos. You never heard me say Terrence Crawford suck. You never heard me say any fighter. Even if a fighter is not on another fighter's level, you never heard me say he suck, he trash, none of that. Because I respect the sport. I respect fighters. But I'm not a fan of fighters. And what I mean by that is, I'm not on no fanboy where this boy, I got a poster of him on my wall. I got a shirt here. I got this. I don't do that. I love the sport of boxing. So when you come over here, know what you're getting into. Better have your ducks in a row. I seen somebody was like, hey, man, I like Boss, but, he be going hard on people in the comment section. I'm going to continue to go hard on you. That's what it is. Because I need to let you know, when you come over here, you better have your ducks in a row. If you come over here and you just want to debate boxing, I don't have no problem with that. When you start getting personal, or you start talking that foolishness, or you start spreading cappery, like that food that I told you about in the comment section, that's when I'm going to expose you. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to do it every time, all day, every day. I'm going to be on your ass, pause. That's what it is. I don't stop. I don't got no gas. I don't got no brakes in my car. It's all gas. Green light. I'm going. All I need is a reason. that's what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Boss gone.